Hey everybody, it's me, John Ward, and welcome back to another film discussion. I am here with my co-host, Donald Wills, and today we have a special guest, a returning special guest, and that would be OGP, the one and only, the
OGP.
notorious
OGP.
OGP. OGP. Thank you for being here, sir.
You're very welcome, etc.
Yes, etc. And with that being said, we are here today. I guess it's no surprise from the thumbnail, but we are here today to discuss the Eastrail 177 trilogy from Mr. M. Night Shyamalan Ding Ding, and that would be Unbreakable, Split, and Glass, which people have given various reviews from hating it to loving it. So that is what we are going to be discussing today, or all three of these movies. And before we deep dive into these, briefly, what are your guys' thoughts on these three films? Philip, or OGP, is our guest. So what are your thoughts first, Mr. Guest?
Overall, I think it's a very fun trilogy. And I think whether it was originally thought out as a trilogy with Unbreakable, because there was such a long gap between Unbreakable and Split, they put it together very well. The stories were written well, how everything came together. So I very much enjoy it. And I would absolutely love if there were more films in this, if we did another trilogy about the future of what happens after the end of Glass. I would love to see something along those lines, but I enjoy them all, and anybody who says that they're not good, I would have to disagree with. Yeah, they're maybe cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs or out of their Shamalama Ding Dong minds.
Okay. All right. And Donald, what about you?
Well, the first time viewing these movies was actually when we did our video back when we did all of M. Night Shyamalan's movies. When I first watched watched these movies, I didn't watch them as a trilogy. We watched all of M. Night Shyamalan's movies as he released them in order. So watching Unbreakable and then having that big gap between Unbreakable and Split, because there's like 5 or 6 movies in between there before you even get to Split, I kind of felt like it was too distant apart, you know what I mean? So I didn't really enjoy Split and Glass as much as I did Unbreakable my first time around. This time around, watching them as a trilogy, I definitely appreciated Split and Glass a whole lot more, and I got to pay more attention to it, and I caught things I missed the first time around. So I definitely recommend this trilogy. I mean, as Philip was saying, I don't know if M. Night Shyamalan actually intended Unbreakable to be in a trilogy or not, but I have to give him props, even though it was 16 years later or something like that. He connected them very well. He didn't leave anything untouched. He didn't leave anything out. He didn't leave hardly any loopholes. At least as far as I didn't see anyway. But I thought he did a great job. So I actually really enjoy this trilogy.
And I've never watched them back to back, even though I've seen all three. I really liked Unbreakable when I first saw it. It was the first Blu-ray I ever purchased. And
wow.
When I saw Split, I thought it was okay. And I agree with you guys, with the gap that's in there. Unfortunately, because M. Night had made so many bad films, in my opinion, in between the two, I waited to watch it when it came, online. In fact, I think I watched a bootleg of it because I didn't even want to give it money. and I already knew about the cameo at the end. But watching, and then I liked it. I thought it was fine. And then when I saw Glass, everybody kind of destroyed it. But I enjoyed it, and watching them back to back, I really enjoyed them. This would probably, if the Hangover movies, if that's my favorite like comedy trilogy, I'm not sure what category you would put these in, but this would be my favorite action trilogy or thriller trilogy or sci-fi trilogy, or I'm not really even sure where you would, or superhero trilogy maybe. I'm not sure where you would put these exactly, but I really enjoyed watching them this time around because I think, and I probably should have gotten some pictures to make my example here, but I think when M. Night is on, he is on. When he is off, man, is he off. You know, The Happening, Old, Last Airbender. I mean, those are just, oh my God, After Earth. I mean,
hey, Last Airbender is a masterpiece.
It's a master something. I mean, or it's a piece of something.
Is that an animated movie?
No. It's
he did a
taken
live
from
action of it.
Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's like Japanese, I think.
I just remember my kids having an animated one.
So but then when he's on, and that's like, you know, Sixth Sense or Sixth Sense, which
or Unbreakable or Split.
Trying not to list the ones that we're talking about. The Cabin, the one that's in the woods. The Cabin, was it Last Cabin in the Woods, or the cabin, or Woods That Are in the Cabin, or whatever that one is. That one I thought was pretty good.
Cabin, I think it's called.
That's it. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, he is, Lady in the Water. God, I mean, it's After Earth being by far one of his worst ones, and they didn't even promote him on the poster or the trailer. It was just a Will Smith, you know, Jaden Smith movie. Because I guess he had
Signs. Did you like Signs?
Signs. Okay, thank you. Signs was really good. Signs I really liked. He was on a role for a little bit. You know, we had, you know, Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs, and then he, I think, went into The Village, which I thought was garbage, and because that's when he got Pure Ego. One of my favorite bad movies of all time is The Happening. I love watching it on Earth Day. That's my favorite film. I think it's the only movie that you could watch on Earth Day. But so we're going to be taking a look at each film. So I am going to bring up our poster here for Unbreakable, and then we can discuss Unbreakable. So let's see. So let's have OGP go first on each one of these, because he's our special guest. So what is your take on? I'd like to point out, though, before we get into it, is each poster. So Unbreakable is November 22nd. This is obviously meant to be because I guess Sixth Sense was a hit, that this was a Thanksgiving movie, so it's kind of appropriate that we're talking about this one. But the other two films were January, which is a dumping ground. So the studios must have not had any faith in those. But please, OGP.
Yeah. Unbreakable, hour and 46 minutes, and it's the plot synopsis is very simple. A man learns something extraordinary about himself after a devastating accident, and you know, I like the way they started out and they go full circle. I mean, even with the trilogy, they go back to the very beginning of Unbreakable with what happens on the train. I do like, I think the story is very well thought out, where, you know, you have Bruce Willis sitting on a train, and then you have this girl coming up, and you see Bruce Willis taking off his ring. So that right there is telling me like, okay, well, this guy is in a marriage that is failing, or he's not happy with, or something, because he's, looking to hit on this girl. And as much as she was, an interesting conversation right there at the end, for basically that to be all from her, with her going away after the train crash, I kind of was waiting for something with her to come back in the film later, like something to be tied in. I guess maybe there was at some point with the athlete, I think, that she was supposed to be going to meet, winds up being out in the street or something with the kid. So I guess there was a little more with her, but not her directly. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But then as the story goes along, Bruce Willis kind of, or I guess, what's his name? Dunn?
David Dunn.
David Dunn, Bruce Willis's character, learning more about himself, and these abilities he has, but being very skeptical of the abilities he has. So I like the way they brought the story along, instead of just dumping it on you, having him go like, holy shit, I'm Superman, and spend the rest of the film fighting crime, because that's what we typically get with comic books. And in Glass, Samuel Jackson mentions that it's been an origin story, and that's kind of where it is with them. But this is not an origin story of one character. This is an origin story of superheroes in general. And this is like the public getting to know that superheroes can exist. And I had a lot of fun with the story, where it was going. I'm not a big fan, and I think it's just because he's weird looking, of Spencer Treat Clark, and him growing up is just, and the fact that, so actors, there's a lot of actors that go with the middle initial, Michael C. Hall or whatever, or a lot of actors that go with the three names. That's fine, but Treat, like, bruh, just go with Spencer Treat, or go with Treat Clark, or go with Spencer Clark. Spencer Treat Clark, it's so cringy to me. It's Treat, like, I just imagine this guy like, opening the side of a van, offering little kids treats to get them in to go black phone on them or something. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of his. But a long time ago, I used to hate Samuel Jackson. And I would not watch anything he was in. And I forget what movie it was that flipped me on him. It might have been like finally caving and watching Pulp Fiction. It might have been Unbreakable, but I flipped on Samuel Jackson. He is a phenomenal actor. And it's always disappointing when you see Samuel Jackson and you don't get a Emmer Effer out of him. And I don't believe at any point in this franchise we got a Emmer Effer. But that's okay. We'll still take Samuel Jackson. He was great.
So should he have said something like, I'm Mr. Glass, motherfucker, or I break like glass, motherfucker, something like that?
Exactly. Or when the guy was there, so the guy, Glass has the art gallery in it, but it's like comic book art, and this guy comes to buy the art, and it's like, he goes, oh, my son's gonna love this, and Samuel Jackson's like, this is art, basically, in paraphrasing, he's like, this is not stuff you give to your kid, this is actual art. So he should have said something like, this is an art gallery, motherfucker. Something along those lines. But I really enjoy his character. And it was, all throughout the trilogy, we have our three superheroes, and I like the fact that we went, not all of them being Superman. He is the mastermind. And the way they ended this film with him showing Bruce Willis, by touching him, that he was the one behind all these terrible things that happened in society, just to prove that superheroes exist, and that raises an interesting question, because if you were to find out that there's a Superman, but Superman doesn't know he's Superman, and you have to do something like Glass did to get Superman's awareness raised so that, he can become Superman and save people, how many people's lives is it worth taking to find somebody like that that could potentially save a lot of lives? So it's kind of interesting. Obviously, the correct answer is it's not worth any lives, but it's, he's the evil mastermind. That's what he has to be. And the fact that everything kind of correlates to comic books, and how Samuel Jackson's character believes that these comic books are history, and it's just people's interpretations of history being laid out in a different, rather than like a textbook, or rather than a painting, it's there in comic books. So it was very fascinating the way they did this. And as it went along, when I first watched Unbreakable, and spoiler alert, I watched Split before I ever watched Unbreakable. So yeah, I think that's right. I went back and watched Unbreakable after watching Split, because at the end of Split, seeing Bruce Willis show up, I was like, whoa, what is that? And then somebody told me, oh, it's Unbreakable. I was like, what? This has another movie involved with it? What? I didn't know. I watched Split on its own. I'll talk about that when we get to it. But this was a lot of fun. I thought they gave us little clues along the way. We saw him learning, and they did a great job with it. I had a lot of fun with this movie.
Awesome. Okay.
That's all I got to say about that.
That's all. All right, Donald, what about you?
I mean, I enjoyed this movie from beginning to end. I really enjoy Samuel L. Jackson, his portrayal of Mr. Glass. I like the complete opposite of each one. Like, he's so fragile. He falls the wrong way, he breaks a leg or he breaks an arm or something. While Bruce Willis' character David is like this like OGP said, Superman. I like how they have the two opposite ends of the spectrum at this point. I thought that was very creative. When you can't use your body like that, what do? You use the only thing you can use, which is your mind. So him becoming the mastermind behind all of this, yes, he did it for, well, pretty much. He pretty much is evil if you really want to think about it. I mean, he doesn't think he's evil. I mean, which villain doesn't think they're evil? So he's like, hey, I needed somebody to come to their full potential, and I found you. And he's like, and right at the end, he's like, you should be happy that I did this. You should be happy I did that. And he's like, no, you killed innocent people for what? Just to get me to become a Superman type of character? No, that's not. Those people did not deserve to die. And I like how even we'll get to when we get to Glass. Even at the end of that, it actually connects all three movies very perfectly. So I we'll get to that when we get to Glass. But I thought the editing was great. I think the way the film looks, it looks very it looks dirty. You know what I mean? I'm not trying. I'm not in a bad way, but it looks like a grainy. You know what I mean?
You know what you're saying? So most comic book movies or superhero movies are over the top colors, bright and colorful, or like the Batman, dark and gloomy. But this is shot like a normal movie. So being like comic book related, it's perfect because you're leading up to that. So it should look like a normal movie. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and I really enjoy the first this and Split are both shot like the exact thing. It's dark, it's gloomy, it's almost as a matter of fact, if you really want to think about it, to answer John's question, I would actually consider Unbreakable to be more of a thriller, Split being more of a horror movie, more horror adjacent, I would say, and then Glass being the over the top action comic book style look.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a thriller, and it's funny because more on that. IMDb has it listed as psychological drama, psychological thriller, suspense mystery, tragedy, drama, mystery, sci-fi, and thriller. So it falls under many categories.
Many categories.
Okay, so I'm going to start with The Sixth Sense. So its budget was $40 million. Unbreakable made 672.8 million. So obviously they would want M. Night to make another movie, and then Unbreakable, with its $75 million budget, made 248.1 million. And I think this is M. Night's best film. I think nothing has surpassed it. It is my second favorite comic book movie, and I do think it is a comic book movie. My first one being Watchmen is, I still think, the best comic book film ever made, especially when you compare the comic to the film. This is a comic book from beginning to end. It is a comic book, and you can look at this. That's a frame from a comic book. They're positioned right in the middle. This is a comic book panel. This is what you would see in a comic book. And this film has this through the whole thing. In this, at the beginning of this scene, the camera is shooting between two like bars on like a stairwell. It's in between. That bar is a comic book panel. Everything is a comic book in this from beginning to end. Each character, and this goes all the way up to Glass, has its own color. If you look right there, even the poncho that Bruce Willis wears, it's green. It's green throughout in Glass. Through Glass. Mr. Glass is purple, and Beast is more of I want to say like a tan color or whatever it is. So they have their colors like they would. This ends on the last panel of what a comic book would be, is our superhero and the villain. And I do believe this is an origin story. I have no idea what they would do if they made a sequel to this maybe 2 years later. But that's how it would end, is you would see in that drawn panel Mr. Glass in the back, and then you would have, the hero here, and it would say in the little captions, he went to, a psych ward. All these things happened. They would have those little things up there, and it would just say end down at the bottom. So this entire thing from beginning to end is a comic book. You also have a lot of scenes of things being upside down, and it has to rotate. Like when Glass gets the comic book as a kid, he gets it upside down. There's a few times where people rotate their head to see what something is, and they shift it. It's even the scene where Glass is following the guy with the gun and he trips down the stairs. As much pain as he's in, he lands upside down. And you see him kind of go back, and the camera goes back with him to see the gun, to know that he is correct on what he is saying. Every single shot in this is perfect. It is absolutely perfect. Did I save it? Did I get it in here? I knew I wanted to get it. Did I get it? Did I get it? Did I get it? I get it. I don't think I pulled it. But, here, even this is a good example of a comic book. That is a comic book.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. That is a great shot. If you were a lot of filmmakers, you would move like Bruce Willis would be to the side, or the camera would be to the side. This is perfect. And this is an absolutely beautiful shot in the film. This is also where we see him as a security guard, and he's watching other football players because he wanted to play football and to keep his girlfriend, soon to be wife, who hates football because it's so violent, he fakes an injury.
Yeah.
So now he's watching what he could have been.
Yeah.
Every single thing in this is perfect. And it is, I could watch this anytime. And like I do with most movies that I review or we do for film discussion, or I do with like Jonathan Moody, I now, instead of just watching it as a person, I now critique it. I'm now looking at it,
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. Why are you
well, every time I watch a movie and I start bitching about it, I've been doing that for a long time. And you're like, can you just watch a movie like without, like having to say something about it? And that's, I mean,
well,
that's,
no, my thing
I've been
with that
I've been
is
critiquing movies for years as I watch. I don't
No,
watch
but-
a movie anymore for the story. I watch to bitch about something.
well, no, and I watch it as a critic and as a fan or whatever it is. My thing with what you were doing is that you were texting me the whole time, and I'm just like, just watch the movie, just watch the movie, but it's I just absolutely, I mean, I just think that this would after watching this, I was very surprised that this has never been at least in my top 10 of one of my all-time favorite films. It's just this is M. Night at his, I think, at his best. And it's just every single thing in this. And you're constantly getting with this, these shots of like them together, just walking, just villain and hero walking together. And it really is. It's an origin story for Lex Luthor and Superman. And that how much damage Lex Luthor has done, being this superhero or supervillain, and really disliking Superman because he gets all the attention. That's Lex Luthor's big problem, is that since he's the smartest man in the world, he deserves all the attention. And then Superman shows up and he gets all the attention. So that's why he constantly wants to kill Superman. But this is that Mr. Glass wants to make the superhero. He wants to have the superhero because he knows that he's the villain. And I like that, like, Mr. Glass's mother is very supportive of him. She's not the abusive mother, that she's very caring and everything, that, something wrong has happened in the marriage of David Dunn, but yet still, with Robin Wright Penn, that they still love each other. And, the son, I think, even though, and I do agree with, with OGP on the son, he has such a weird, unusual look to him that, and as an adult, it gets kind of stranger. But as a kid actor, he is great.
He's okay.
I find, because he barely talks a lot of the time in it, and then when he talks, it's all about propping up his dad. So,
but that's what kids that are happy or love their dad do, especially when they've seen their dad suffer, and he wants to make his dad happy, and he's seen his dad suffer because he knows his mom and his dad are having problems. Who knows if the kid knew that the dad's problems and the relationship, if your relationship is based on a lie, which it was based on the lie that he got hurt in the accident, so he couldn't play football. So in the back of his mind, that has always been there, and he's always had this like subconscious animosity toward his wife, and that has had to have led to problems in their marriage. So the son would pick up on stuff like that. So I do think they did a good job breaking down that relationship and why it worked the way it did and why the kid was the way he was toward the dad. So it was very well thought out and written.
Yeah. And I just thought it's even with all the destruction and death that Mr. Glass causes, he's incredibly supportive. He's very positive. Like, there's really nobody who's negative in this entire film. It's you know, it's not like you're just going to go out and kill people. No, it's the mother is supporting her son. You know, it's the son is supporting his father, and yeah, I think it's freaking brilliant.
Yeah, well, and the beauty of it is that we don't know how evil Mr. Glass is until the very end of the film. You know, and so we think he's this positive guy. We think he's, you know, good intention and stuff. And then we find out he's responsible for the accident, you know, with the train and another plane crash and all these other things that have happened. And then you realize him being the mastermind tricked us all into believing that he was a good guy. And, you know, and he really wasn't. So it was very well written. And you're right. It is formatted very much like a comic book would be told. And the characters are, you know, they do fall in line, you know, like a story of a comic book. And it leads at the end when, yeah, you see Mr. Glass. Okay, well, he's now going to the asylum. And comic books typically don't kill people because they want to write another comic book. They want to write a sequel. And so you put them in an asylum where they can escape down the road, or they can do damage from there. And so, you know, leaving it like that rather than, you know, killing somebody, you know, makes a lot of sense. So it was, you know, I really like this movie, and I don't know if it's my favorite M. Night movie, but it's definitely up there. You know, and as far as, and I'm not the biggest comic book movie guy, but the realism in this movie makes me appreciate it that much more. The Batman, the Batman with Robert Pattinson, that is one of the more plausible comic book movies, you know, that is very great in a long time. The Avengers, you know, people don't turn into giant green Hulks. People don't fly around. You know, so the idea that these are regular guys and you can still hurt them. They have families, they have things going on. Being so like real with the people is great. But plus the fact that it's not just all of a sudden they learn they're superheroes and they go save the world. And I mean, essentially, even with Superman, going back to Christopher Reeve, we find out that he's Superman, and it doesn't take too long before the movie has changed from him finding himself to him saving the world. This movie's just basically about these guys finding themselves.
Right.
So that it's very interesting looking at that, you know, portion of their lives. And I think there's just so many very, very good things about this film. But is it the best of this trilogy? Who knows? We'll talk about that, I guess, right?
Yeah.
One thing I do want to point out, and I was telling my wife, because my wife watched these movies for the very first time. She's seen a couple of other M. Night Shyamalan movies, but she's never seen these three. So I told her, I said, when she's seen the ending, when he shook Mr. Glass's hand, and as you were saying, Philip, he just we've got revealed like he was behind like the hotel burning down, the plane crash, then ultimately the Eastrail 177. I told her, I said, this is when M. Night Shyamalan is known for his twists. And this is a perfect example when he does the twist right. You know, you don't expect, you know, Mr. Glass to be, you know, the evil mastermind until it flopped the thing on its head and said, hey, by the way, you're now getting information that he was behind everything. And I said, this is the perfect example. Unlike, you know, some of his other movies, you know, no.
Well, that
I thought John was going to save The Sixth Sense.
Well, okay. I think M. Night is flawed in almost every single movie, and that includes these. It's in The Sixth Sense. When you watch it once, you go, "He's dead? Oh my god!" And then you watch it twice, and you're like, "Wait, if he's dead, how's he getting off of a bus? If he's dead, how is he opening a door? If he's dead and he's communicating with somebody, wouldn't he then go, why aren't you talking to me? I'm speaking to you. Can you not hear me?" I mean, the M. Night doesn't show any of that. You know, it's when Bruce Willis's character is talking to the kid's mom, and it's a shot, and they're on the other side of the wall, and you're supposed to think, okay, they've talked. They're now just waiting for the kid to get home. How did he get into the apartment? If he's a ghost, he's knocking, she would never hear it. You know, does he float through the door and she just happens to be sitting there? So there's stuff like that. There's like, even in Signs, I mean, unless the aliens didn't scan the planet, why would they land on a planet with water when water can kill them? It doesn't. So it's stuff like that that doesn't make a lot of sense, but M. Night does it. You know, The Visit. So the mom never has any pictures of her parents up in the house anywhere. Like, she's never shown pictures of the grandparents to her kids ever. So then when they go to the house, they think that these are the grandparents. And then they find the photos downstairs. I think it's like in the basement. But he does certain things well enough to where, you know, you have to kind of look beyond that. And even in something like Old, which is absolutely beautiful, God, that film is gorgeous, that why are these people aging? Well, they do have a lab, they're doing experiments, so we do get some sort of explanation, which is fine. It's a horrible movie, but you know, that's okay. So it's but I think that you can look past some of these flaws. Like, if David Dunn says that his kryptonite is water, why is he always in the rain? You know, wouldn't he kind of pick a job that maybe, you know, works more towards the summer? But he's always in water. So
I think it's more deep water that he's afraid of, because he almost drowned in the pool. That's
right.
I think that's mostly his thing. Now, rain, like, as someone that had a bad experience with a pool one time, I can actually relate to him, actually, because I don't go anywhere near a pool. I don't go anywhere near, if I can't stand in it, I ain't going in it. So I kind of feel him.
Once again, a great shot here of what a comic book frame would look like. I mean, it's perfectly centered. I think it's very Kubrick looking. I think when you center things, it's incredibly Kubrick. But with this picture, so I find this. So while collecting photos for this, I was just like, oh, Unbreakable, David Dunn, Bruce Willis, because I wanted to get pictures like this. So then I found, let me see here if I could get to this. Let's see if I could share screen. Okay. Can you guys see that okay? Yeah. Okay. So this is, carbon costume, David Dunn do-it-yourself costume guide. And because I thought, oh, how easy would this be for a like a Halloween costume? And it tells you how to do it. This is what you need to get your David Dunn, you know, costume. So you need, you know, and right down here, you know, it shows you buy items for the do-it-yourself costume, and you only need these 4 things. And I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of funny because somebody's actually thought it out. I'm guessing you could probably find a poncho that says security on it. But, you know, but if you want to do it yourself, this is how you do it. Then there is, let me get back out of this. I'm sorry, I'm still learning how to do all this stuff. Let's see. So then I'm going to go back to it again. And then I'm going to go to the second one. So then people are, now there's cosplay that you could do. And so here's a guy who's done it for conventions. I mean, who would think David Dunn would have people walking around a convention as him? Would you even think this is David Dunn, or maybe he's just part of security?
I don't know that it's not like, I mean, it's a hat and a poncho. It would be weird at a convention to see somebody wearing a poncho, but
Yeah.
I don't know that most people would pick up on that. You would have to be a diehard, haha, but a bump, a diehard, Bruce Willis, but a bump, to know. But I've never, and I've been to way more conventions than I ever care to admit. Don't remember ever seeing anybody as a David Dunn, but it is cool. It's simple, and it would be fun if you're a fan of the films. Something fairly simple to do, but I would rather. I mean, I like Mr. Glass's like kind of purple outfit better. That's very evil and ominous looking.
I could see someone like literally doing that, and everybody, and the whole entire convention, they'll be like, "Who are you supposed to be?" I'm David Dunn.
Well, then here you have another one. This is one that you can actually order. This is right now it is out of stock. It's
$160.
Yep.
Suck my butt. You could buy that poncho for like $10. Like, why would you spend 160? That's hilarious.
See, he's got the hat, like over here. But that's the thing is, see, it's this. It's the, I don't know if this is moving on your screen or not because I can't tell. It's the FSU, so that's the college, I guess, or their football team. So maybe that's what makes it unbreakable.
Does it on Bruce Willis's in the movie? Because I don't remember ever seeing the FSU. Does it say FSU on the front of his?
It does. It's just it's kind of because it's big. It kind of blocks it a lot, but it is there.
Now, is that the college, or is FSU what he does? He fucks shit up.
Oh,
when the bad guys come, is that what he does?
Damn.
Hey,
could be what he does.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Oh, but then if you are a huge Unbreakable fan, you can always do. God damn it! I still have to learn how to do this correctly. You can always do. It's this one, I think. Yeah. This is the prop from the movie that you can purchase. And
like,
somebody
is that screen used?
It looks like it.
Replica prop.
I mean, it's got pictures of it from the movie. It says stunts on this tag. So I don't know, maybe.
Okay, so you would, it is being promoted as screen used, and it's sold already, sold out.
So you try to get that back to that one. There we go. Sold, yeah.
Well, look, okay.
So I don't know how much they paid for it, but I mean, you got to be a big fan to just buy a poncho. Yeah, and there's the fuck shit up on his on the front there.
Yeah.
So, but with looking those up, so let me stop screen here. I thought, okay, well, what if I want to be, Mr. Glass? What if I want to have a costume like his? And I typed in same thing, Unbreakable, Mr. Glass costume, and this guy popped up.
A similar color scheme, but wrong outfit.
And then, but then you can also, hey, if you really want to, just dress up like Prince, and you're Mr. Glass.
Similar color scheme again, but we're missing the mark a bit.
And then if he wants to go Austin Powers and make a mini-me, he can always do that.
Okay.
So there's many ways that that you can actually do this. And then, of course, this isn't the only film that Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson have been in. They were also, I would say, Pulp Fiction, but they weren't in a scene together, I don't think. But of course, you have Mr. Glass and David Dunn trying to save New York City from a bomber, from Hans Gruber's brother. So they've worked together a few times now. So they must, get along.
Yeah, well, money makes a lot of people get along, whether they were buddies or not.
Yeah, money makes friends.
Yeah.
Then I just kept finding these things, like people like doing big things on the Pawn Show. Like I didn't know it was such a big deal. And what did you think of, and this is going to be one of our last ones, then we'll move on to Split. What did you think of him being called the Overseer? Is that a good comic book name? Did you like that?
Well, you got to give him a comic book name, but I thought the Overseer was like.
Did they bring that up in Unbreakable, or did they bring that up in Glass? Because I thought they brought that up in Glass because he was going over the different names.
It could be Glass, but it's, I'm just, because we're on the first film, and just what do you think of this as a superhero name?
I think it's pretty cool. Better than the Tiptoe Man.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, don't ever say Tiptoe Man again. So, yeah, I think we're now going to move on to Split, so we can get into here.
Yeah, if he's going to be the Overseer, Mr. Glass should have been the evildoer. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Overseer.
Oh yeah, let's see. Let's take a look at...
Hello, here we are. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Nope, that doesn't work. Nope, that doesn't work.
What's going on, John?
That kind of works. Hold on. No, wait. Nope. I think that's the best that I'm going to get with all three of us.
What did you do, John? What did you do?
Well, let's show. So Donald and I own this by itself on Blu-ray. Oh my God, Philip, what are you doing? Your eyes are so beautiful.
Oh, thank you very much.
Poke him in the eye.
Yeah.
Why are we so big?
Yeah.
I gotta scoot back. I'm way too fucking big.
I know. I can't get it smaller with all three of us. So this is how I own it. How do you own it, Donald? You own the whole thing.
Right? I have.
So yeah, so he has the Eastrail 177 trilogy. Why is it called the Eastrail 177 trilogy?
Because they all are connected to that train crash. I don't know.
Well, yeah,
I didn't even know it was called the Eastrail 177 trilogy until I seen this in Walmart at one time. And I was like, okay. I didn't know this had a name. I just thought it was just Unbreakable, Split, and Glass.
I thought it was the Shyamalan Ding Dong trilogy.
No. People would tell me.
Actually, it does. Let's say it on the spine.
Oh, okay.
And that Shyamalan's Eastrail 177 trilogy.
As opposed to James Gunn's Eastrail 177 trilogy? Who else would have that? Of course it'd be M. Night Shyamalan.
Well, no, I'm just saying it says it on the on
No,
the
I know what you're saying, but I'm saying, why put that on there? Who else has done this trilogy?
I don't know. Maybe you know, M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong does not like being called M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. He wants to make sure it's a Shyamalan. Okay. Shyamalan.
Well, it's called the Eastrail 177 trilogy because that is the train. That's the rail that the train was on with Bruce Willis. It is brought up in Split, and of course, it's a major factor at the end of Glass. So it's everything deals with this train. So let's get into then Split, and I will bring up one of OGP's favorite guys. There he is.
Oh, yeah.
So let's continue in the same order. So OGP, what is your take on Split?
So, as I had previously mentioned, Split is the first film in this trilogy that I had seen because the trailer and when it came out was, whether it was billed as a horror movie, it looked like a horror movie. And it is on IMDb. They call it a horror / thriller. And it looked very good. You see even his face in the poster. James McAvoy is great. He is very intimidating, and seeing him go seamlessly from personality to personality in his mind. He is such a phenomenal actor to be able to go with the range of different characters that he had to play. He was great. And the way, I mean, we get into the movie right off the bat. It's, there's no goofiness to it or anything. You have these girls, one of them has mental issues, but she's included with the friends, and then we're going to give her a ride home, and then wham, the dad's taken out, and what are we going? Dennis, I guess, you can call him one of many, many, many different names, but Dennis shows up and kidnaps the girls, and we're off and running, and the girls are trapped and they don't know what to do. I do like the way when the girls are in there, you have Anya Taylor-Joy, whose character has experienced some horrific things throughout her life with the sexual abuse from her uncle and stuff, so she's more thoughtful of how to handle the situation, where the other girls are kind of like, well, let's just take this guy out, let's we need to all jump him, and Casey, Anya Taylor-Joy's character, is like, no, it's not going to work, we have to figure things out. The girls in there being scared and him handling him, and then it's like you see there's almost these opportunities for them to escape, when whatever the 9-year-old, whatever his name is, comes out.
Hedwig.
Yeah, Hedwig, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And so then you're like, okay, maybe the girls can escape now, and they're, it's getting to like where they almost can, but then they don't. I just, it's edge of your seat. It's just, what's going to happen? You don't know what's going to happen. Where are these girls? It's very, very interesting, and you're scared for these girls. So I don't know. I when I first saw this, I just saw it. I thought it was a standalone horror film, and I just loved it. And then at the very end, when you see Bruce Willis, I think I mentioned it to like Fat Samurai Guy, and he's like, "Oh, well, have you seen Unbreakable?" And I'm like, "What?" So then I went and watched Unbreakable and was like, "Okay, fuck yeah." So, and James McAvoy, I mean, as far as what's the other movie that he just Speak No Evil. I like the remake of Speak No Evil with James McAvoy better than the original. Now the original is much more like violent and graphic, where his is more just intense thriller, edge of your seat. But he is just a phenomenal actor. That is a intimidating look on his face. And if that dude sat down in your car next to you, especially if you're a teenage girl, you're going to be scared shitless. So
can you imagine you're at a stoplight and you just look over and you just see that guy staring at you like that? You'd be like, green, please, green.
Well, and it's so funny, John. I'm going to share an image with you real quick. Just pop this up real fast. So you go from that
Okay,
What
maybe.
what
Hold on,
John is
maybe.
showing you right there, you
Hold
go
on.
from that
Okay, there we
look
go.
to this guy. How is that the same person? How is that the same person? That's James McAvoy with hair and happy, not like scaring the piss out of people. How is that the same person? That is absolutely phenomenal. His acting range. So,
Yeah.
anyways, yeah, he did not disappoint. Anya Taylor-Joy is great. I've loved her in many things, including like stuff as simple as like her playing chess. Uh, but I thought the cast was great, and the locations, the way they're down in, and they don't know where they are, but they're down in this basement, and it's like, how does he have this basement that's kind of a labyrinth down there? Give me a good reason, because that dude is obviously not smart enough to go dig and build his own basement, but for him to take part of the zoo, that's kind of this forgotten corner of the underground part of the zoo, and make it into his lair down there, I thought played very well for it. And then the progression of Dennis's character going and becoming the beast at the end, um, it was pretty cool, because once you knew the beast was coming, it's like, all right, girls, no more screwing around. You got to figure out a way to get out of there. And and then the as the beast is out and he's on his way back, and then it's kind of like panic mode time, and then it's like, okay, well, are they going to make it? Well, one of them makes it, but it it's a very good horror movie, and it is also a very good addition to this trilogy. And it's almost like this trilogy is kind of like instead of like one after another, it's almost like a triangle where you have David Dunn's movie and him coming to glass, and then you have this in his evolution and that going to glass. So they're it's not just straight lineage, it's two different stories intersecting with the third movie. And man, it's great. I'm such a fan of James McAvoy. He's so good, and Anya Taylor-Joy. So was very happy again. And I mentioned this to John. I love all three of these movies. So when finding out you guys were watching them, I am shocked that I don't own any of them. But there's a lot of movies that are kind of mainstream that I don't buy, and maybe I just view these as that, but they're really not, because this one, Split, you can watch on HBO right now, but Glass and Unbreakable, if you want to stream those, you have to pay to stream them on Amazon. So you can't just pop them in like you have a Blu-ray collection or something. So again, going back to why we collect physical media, this is a perfect example. So you can just watch whenever you want without having to pay again. So I can't say enough. This one may very well be my favorite M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong movie.
It'd be a good one. So, all right, Donald, what about you?
Well, I'm basically going. I have to agree with almost everything Philip just said. I mean, James McAvoy did a great job. Especially when you're seeing him. At first he's Dennis, and then he's Miss Patricia, and then he turns into Hedwig, and then like every other personality that he I forget, Barry or whatever, when he goes to the psychiatrist. I think the psychiatrist thing is like very interesting, because even she's like, one of the personalities is emailing her saying there's something wrong, I need to see you. And then when he gets there, he's like, oh no, there's nothing wrong, everything's fine, what are you talking about? And he makes it believable. Like, that personality, like he's playing Barry at that particular moment. And when he goes to Dennis, he's playing Dennis. He's like very serious and very, like, I don't want to tell you twice. I don't want to hurt you. Look, your shirt is dirty. I need to clean it. Take it off. Give it to me.
Yeah.
So
No,
and
that's great because the differences in the characters, each character, each personality that he went into, they were all very well thought out. It wasn't
yeah,
like it was just a different character. They were very
mhm,
well thought out.
yes, yes. And this is what I'm saying. Like the fact that when M Night has an original thought like these two, he hits like that. It's really good. But when he does, it seems like when he's doing somebody else's story, that's when he kind of fails. So but that's one thing I want to say about this trilogy, though. This is like pretty much, I mean, as original as you're gonna get it. I mean, obviously there's about hundreds of superhero movies out there. So he's not the first one to come up with a superhero movie, but to do it in this way, where it's more of a character study more than David Dunn going out and beating the crap out of each other. Split, becoming, James McAvoy's character, Kevin is the regular guy's name. Him becoming, the Beast and just wrecking crap up and everything. You know what I'm saying? So I love that these are character studies. They're slow burns, but you're getting the experience. Like, okay, this is getting serious. This is getting, oh no, what's the Beast is coming? Like, who's the Beast? And then all of a sudden you're invested. So that's what I love about Split. And yes, when I first seen it, I first seen the trailers on TV one day, and I was like, man, that looks like a really creepy horror movie.
Yeah.
And just like OGP, I had no idea that this was part of a trilogy. I don't even think they advertised it as it was supposed to be a trilogy. So, in my mind, did they intend to make Glass right after Split? And they just kind of, what I mean? Like, and then later on, they're like, oh well, we better connect like Unbreakable with this movie so we can do Glass. I mean,
Well, I'll say, okay, so I'm going to start off with, okay, the budget on Glass is Blumhouse type budgets. It's $9 million. That is like nothing compared to the other two movies.
Yeah.
Its box office was $278.5 million. So it definitely made its money back.
Yeah.
But when you look at now, why is its budget that low? Okay. So Sixth Sense, a hit. Unbreakable, a hit. Signs, a hit. Oh, The Village? Kind of. Lady in the Water? Nope. The Happening? Nope. Last Airbender? Nope. These are all in order. After Earth? Nope. I guess The Visit made some money. And then he did Split. Glass was right after that. It was like only a couple of years later. Oh God, he has a new movie coming out in 2026 called Remain. Oh God, it's based on a Nicholas Sparks novel. Okay. All right. If it has
it's gonna
to
be like Knock at the Cabin all over again.
Oh God. But it's in the characters that are in here, because we'll look at I think this is a good representation of all of them, is right. Yeah, I think this is all the ones that show up on screen. This. So he has, or the character has, it's DID. So it's a dissociative identity disorder, IDD. I'm sorry, DID. Fuck, I hate being dyslexic. Is a complex mental health condition characterized by the presence of two or more distinct personality states, often resulting from severe trauma during early childhood, which would make sense for him. I watched a few things on that disorder. Some people are saying Split is pretty much dead on with it. Other people are saying, no, this makes everybody with this disability look awful. So it is definitely split down the middle on, on how serious the film can be taken. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing but what I'm impressed with is this $9 million budget, and it kind of being a one location type of thing, because it's all in the basement of the zoo. And his characters do take, especially the beast, well, mainly the beast, they're all animals from the zoo.
Yeah.
So it's, I was very impressed with what M. Night could do with that small a budget when he was used to bigger budgets. And the one location thing worked for what the film is. The doctor, who is Betty Buckley, who's from Eight Is Enough, I thought she did a really good job. She was also in The Happening. And that it's not really about curing her patients. It's about like research and, getting up on that podium and talking to people
she's Rob Zombie's Loomis. She's not John Carpenter's Loomis. She's Rob Zombie's Loomis.
Yeah, it's all because she's very bummed that she's not like this one of these speakers, but she could be part of this Zoom, online presentation instead of actually being there. So it's and the guy jokes with her, I guess her colleague jokes with her like, the video that you gave us was, what was it? Like on a dog, like a dog doing different things or something, and they didn't take it seriously. They thought that she was a joke. I think McAvee should have been nominated for an Academy Award for this film. I think he does so well. And with the way that M. Night shoots, with the camera placement, just kind of like Unbreakable, is they don't cut from one personality to another, kind of like what they did in Lord of the Rings with Gollum. This is just him flipping from one person to another instantly. Yeah. He does leave a room and come back in different clothes, but when he's just in the room and somebody's watching him, he just flips. Yeah. And I don't know how many times they had to do it, like maybe take 20 is the one that they kept. But he does an excellent job in this. And the girls are really good. Everybody is very good in this. And I don't care if it's exactly what the disease is. It's done. Jason doesn't exist. Freddy doesn't exist. There's, Hannibal Lecter doesn't exist. So I can buy into this. I completely bought into it. So,
yeah. Well, and so with, did you hear that James, while they were shooting, he's so passionate about his craft and he was getting into the character so much that he was filled with rage that he actually like broke his hand punching a wall because he screwed up while they were shooting. So he was so into it. And so, at some point during filming, he actually broke his hand. But I am with you when people say, oh, this gives a bad name to everybody with this disease. You can break some dumb stuff down like that and say, you know what? Let's just take the black phone. You could say, well, any magician has a bad name. Or not magician, but any white man has a bad name, or the magician has a brother. So anybody with a brother has a bad name. Anybody with hair has a bad name. Anybody who lives in a normal house has a bad name. Anybody who drives a van has a bad name. You can pick anything you want about a villain or a bad person and say, oh, you're giving bad names. It's a movie, people. It's a movie. And, it's like we watch all these movies, and you hear like Robert De Niro, this, you can't say these things, blah, 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 and then it's like, bro, you were in movies where you killed people. You were a mobster in movies. It's a movie. People, we have to differentiate that. Don't get mad because, a black guy is a villain and does something bad, or because a gay guy does something bad. People do bad things. It's a movie. We need to get past that. So that's frustrating. That when you mentioned that, John, that just ate me up. And sorry, I had to give you my little mini rant on that right there.
No, and that's fine because I remember when the Avengers came out, the first movie, and Loki's the villain, and the Avengers kind of look at Thor, and he goes, he's adopted. Oh my God. People who were adopted were like raging out of control. How dare you? That implies that all adopted people are like that. You can't say that. And at that point, people went, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut up. That's
all
not
I
what
say
we're
to
saying.
them.
But today it's like,
yeah,
sorry
emotional damage.
emotional.
Like, don't project your problems on society because you are a nutcase. It does not mean society is a nutcase. Grow a pair and move on with your life.
You know, the way I look at it is like, this is an example of maybe one person that has this disability, you know, this disease, this DID, whatever it's called, this split personality. The way I look at it, it's like, okay, this you use this as an example of like, what this could be someone that never got treated. You know, because if you don't get something treated right away, you could turn into something like this. And the way I look at it is like, hey, you know, just because we depicted, like James McAvoy depicted a person with this disability or what do you call it, disorder, I look at it as like, okay, I'm not going to go up to someone and says, hey, I have DID. Do you have like 10 personalities? Dude, give me one right now. What are the names? What are the names?
Bob,
do Isaac.
Bob,
do
Bob.
Isaac right now.
Yeah, I would totally.
Dude, give me Bob. Give me Bob. Come on. John, give me Bob.
If he wasn't a beast, I would totally want to hang out with him. I would want to watch that progression. That would be very interesting.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, man. I would hang out with Hedwig. I'd hang out with him.
Little 9-year-old kid.
Why not? He's cool. Cool cat.
Read some comic books together or something. Yeah.
There you go. So, listen to my man Drake.
So what did you guys think of the Beast? Was the Beast believable with what, you know, Betty Buckley's character is talking about, his therapist, where she goes, you know, climbing walls, and she kind of sets it up for you that the Beast can already do all of these things. So when we see it and he's on the wall, I remember somebody saying, oh, that was so stupid. I wish they didn't show him on the wall. But now with watching it, I'm like, I don't know. She did bring it up. It is mentioned. So, and then Glass, they do bring it, you know, the doctor there gives explanations for each character. So what did you think with him? Yeah, climbing the walls, the pulling the bars without Glass being involved, the movie Glass, just on this film alone.
This was great because it showed us, the audience, that okay, he's crazy. He has, you know, and I'll, you know, sue me, your DIDers, like, you're mad at me for saying he's crazy. He's crazy. But it shows us that he is, you know, a supernatural, or you know, he's a superhero. He's not a hero, or like, but he has superpowers, you know, because I don't care. And like when the therapist or whatever, the doctor in Glass, like, makes all the excuses for why these things could be done. You're seeing him, you know, walk around on this wall, or crawl around this wall, that there's no way. I don't care who you are. Nobody, you can be the greatest wall climber of all time. You're not climbing around on a flat wall. So, you know, to actually see it and to see him bend the metal was great. And the one I found it interesting with all the characters in this franchise, this trilogy, that they have these superpowers, but he's not like Superman, where he just would take those bars and just completely bend a moment so he could walk right in. He's actually having to struggle. So he does have these superpowers. Maybe he's needing to be trained or developed by somebody like Glass so he can, you know, use more of his powers, or maybe that's all he has. So it leaves that it's closer. It's not really plausible, but it's closer to plausibility, which makes it more exciting for me. But I thought it made a great horror movie, because if you were just watching this as a horror movie, to have this creature that could do these things, that could come get these girls, and there was no escape for them. I thought that was phenomenal. And usually I hate movies where you have to talk the killer down. Like the way we defeat Pennywise is by telling him he's like not a nice person. Fuck off with that stuff. But they did it well in this because of the fact he had these multiple personalities, and you were appealing to the original, the main Derek. You were going back to his birth personality, and and Derek is trying to control because he knows all these other personalities can be very bad. So I liked the way they did it, but I think it was great. I loved it. I really loved it. As a standalone horror movie, I loved it, but then it being part of the trilogy, I love it too. I don't know if I could say, oh, I liked it better as a standalone horror, because with the trilogy you get 3 movies, so of course that's better. You get 3 times the fun. So to me, it's just it's phenomenal. But basically, to answer your question, John, yes, I think it was great.
Okay, Donald, anything that you want to say about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Beast was probably, like I said, earlier, you didn't get introduced to the Beast right away, so you have the anticipation of waiting for that moment. So you're sitting there, okay, is the Beast going to attack now? Like, because from the very beginning, each personality is like, oh, the Beast is coming to get you. The Beast is coming to get you, and it's like, well, okay, where's the Beast? And every personality, every time you got introduced to another personality, you're like, is he the Beast? No, he's not the Beast. But so and then it's like, okay, how does the Beast operate? And then when the psychiatrist lady kind of like goes into like, she's trying to talk the personality into like Dennis and Patricia, and I'm like, the 2 lead personalities. She's like, you don't actually believe that the Beast can actually do this. You don't believe he can do that, right? Like and it's like, oh, okay. So so they've, I guess, Dave must have told her at one point, or one of the personalities told her about the Beast. So she knows about the Beast, but it's like, we're getting more information throughout the movie, and when we finally get introduced to it, it's creepy. It's unsettling. I don't know how you feel about him seeing her with when she has, she had like a tank top on, and he sees the scars and all over her, and he's like, oh, you've suffered too. You're pure, and then he walks away. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that whole moment between them with that stuff, and then how that correlates to the movie Glass and their relationship with the Beast and Casey. That's something I was going to address when we talk about Glass. It's very interesting dynamic, and I think that's probably why Glass got a lot of hate. But you know what I do like about the Beast is that he does change, and it's almost like they said, okay, James, go hit the weight bench, go, pump some iron and get your muscles all kind of flaring up, and whatever, if it was just makeup that they put on his veins to make it, or I can't imagine that was CGI'd in there, but whatever, when he became the Beast and he had like, you could see the blood, veins, and he was like buffer, he had a physical change, but it wasn't like he changed into the Incredible Hulk. So I love that, because I was kind of waiting for the Beast, and it's hoping like, is he going to turn into a werewolf? Is he going to have this major unbelievable transformation, which he does transform, but not like ridiculously. So I thought that I liked the way the Beast looked.
It's much more grounded, and we do get flashbacks to his past with his mom, and which I can relate to, And we get flashbacks to, you know, Casey's past with the uncle. And I do not blame her at all for aiming that shotgun. I think that she should have shot
Pulled
him.
the trigger.
Yeah, because he was obviously doing this for years and years to her.
Yeah.
And so when he sees those, you know, that she's a cutter, and so they're damaged, and that's the whole thing. Is that the two girls that did die in this were too perfect. They had the perfect lives, the perfect bodies, the perfect parents, the, you know, money, all, friends, and all that. They're not damaged, but to him, the damaged are the ones that will survive, and if anything, like, take over. And that's why I think that he lets her live, is that if she didn't show those scars, you know, unintentionally, he would have killed her. And
the whole MO was eating these people. They would have been food, but the food had to be pure and perfect. She wasn't pure and perfect, so then she wasn't food. So it makes, if people have a problem with him not killing her at the end, she was impure. She wasn't the perfect food. And if you notice the other girls, you know, he ate part of them, not all of them, but
technically, in his aspect, she was pure because she suffered. The other girls haven't suffered and haven't felt pain, so they were the ones who were impure.
Well, I thought that they talked about the food having to be pure. The food
well,
to be perfect. So she was imperfect. That's why he didn't eat her. He liked her or he identified with her imperfections.
Yeah.
So that's why he didn't kill her.
Yeah, because they're both damaged, and so she is him, he is her.
And
so
the idea that he was, you know, identified with her being damaged, and we got more than just her cutting herself. You know, we understood why she was cutting herself by seeing this, you know, her experiences with her uncle. I love that they went that deep with the story, because there's a lot of filmmakers, especially nowadays, because this is 10 years old, but you know, there's a lot of filmmakers that would be like, you know, rape and incest. Is this something we want to, you know, is this something we want to talk about with little kids? It's hard to watch, but you know, it's a real thing. So,
but he does it. M. Night does it in a tasteful way, right? Like,
agreed.
The uncle is always giving her dad beer, so like he passes out. He, you know, and then, you know, the dad dies, and then he takes her in, and he's like, "I'm going to take care of you now. Is this going to be a problem?"
Yeah.
You know, because it's your fault, which is what these people say to these little kids. You know, it's your fault. You know, and then with how she removes herself from people. And I think a lot of filmmakers would have shown her cut herself.
Yeah, we don't need that.
No, and instead we just see the scars of her and of doing it, which is perfect. She doesn't even have to say that she's a cutter. We just have to see it to know what has happened with the uncle is so horrible that she cuts herself, you know. So basically, that's like her way of not killing herself, you know, or screaming or whatever it is. She cuts herself also because it's her fault to a degree. In her mind, it's her fault.
The reason cutters like that cut themselves is to make them unattractive. It's, you know, she wants to be unattractive, so the uncle won't want to molest her or have sex with her, you know, or like a lot of girls overeat and gain a lot of weight, so they're not attractive. So the abusers won't want to abuse them. So her cutting was to try and get him to stop.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then, you know, this was brought up, the very ending of this.
Sorry, I'm getting blown up. I apologize.
There's a thing called mute. You know, OGP brought this up, which is our little twist ending here, you know, with Bruce showing up, and he's even has the name tag that says "done" on it, just in case you didn't remember. But I knew this was coming, and this is kind of what I was looking forward to throughout the entire movie. Is it just going to be a character in this movie walking past him in the street, or are they going to somehow like maybe bump into each other? Will he just be in a car? And I liked that the girl comments on the TV that, okay, this is the, you know, the newscaster and stuff. This is the same world. This is the same city. And the camera just kind of moves past them to him. And it's just like, yeah, I can believe it.
Yeah.
So I
see,
mean,
and that's
if
I would have seen Unbreakable first, like I would have been waiting for this the whole movie. But for me at the end, I was waiting for like Dennis or James' character to be sitting there at the bar. I didn't know where we were going with this, and then seeing Bruce Willis at the end of the bar, I'm like, oh, I'm missing something. What's going on? And that's why at that point I was like, wait a minute. So not expecting this the whole time, it was a very, very pleasant surprise for me seeing Bruce Willis sitting there. And then what I loved was that immediately I went in and watched Unbreakable, like right after the movie was over, because I didn't know that they were connected. So if I had seen Unbreakable first, like you, I think you would have to be sitting there waiting for the answer to the beast, and David Dunn is the answer to the beast. So it's great. It was very well done. And the idea that Bruce Willis is just sitting there, you're like, ooh, we're already 2 hours into this movie. This is not going to happen now. So we're getting a third movie, bitches. Hell yeah. We're getting a trilogy. So yeah, it was great. The tease was perfect.
Donald?
I enjoyed the ending there. It was kind of almost like a you know how like the Marvel movies do like the end credits or like the after credits like scene. That's kind of what they did with this a little bit. Like you know they had like the like you said, the newscaster, and then the girl commented. She's like, hey, you know, that's almost like that crazy guy that was in the wheelchair. What was his name again? And he goes, Glass, Mr. Glass, or something like that. And I was like, yeah, there he is. There's the man.
Yeah,
the nice connection. And if I would have known like these were two like back in the day before I even like I never like the trailer would have said like, hey, this is like connected to Unbreakable, I think maybe a lot more people would understand. Like this was supposed to be like, you know, seen like back to back.
Yeah. Well, the beauty of it is that they did not allude to that. So that when you saw the end of this, you might not have been thinking trilogy. And then you see the very end and you're like, yes, we're getting another one. And it's how often are you that excited about getting a third movie in a franchise? Because a lot of times by the third movie, the producers have just shit all over it, and we're not happy with franchises. So this was a nice tease. And the fact at this point, obviously they knew they were going with the third film, and it was instead of like 16 years between the first two, it was 3 years between this one and Glass. So, but yeah, it was great. And I love that they just didn't go straight to him. They panned the camera down and, well, actually they didn't pan is turning. They, whatever the camera, whatever that's called. I always forget that. What that's called.
It travels. It just goes, along. It's like from the TV, then it goes down to the girls, and then it slowly goes on to him. Yeah. So it's a really nice shot. So, so now since this film can be a little depressing, with kidnappings and all that, what do you say we ended on something happy? Here we go. Look at that. There we go.
And you had to go get a very young one of her too. You couldn't go get like
hey, it's from Split. And that's what we're talking about.
And and I'm sure she was probably 18 at the time, but playing a teenage girl, you could have. I mean, there's so many
doing a little Sydney Sweeney before Sydney Sweeney there.
Yeah, no. Well, she has Sydney Sweeney envy right there because she's not packing, but her unique look, she looks Norwegian or something, or she looks Swedish or something with her eyes. No, she has a very unique look, and she's a great actress to boot. So
yeah. And then with this, I own it separately. I'm not going to try to get this back into the 3 squares again. So I'll just show it here. So I own it separately. Donald has it in the pack, and I'm guessing eventually OGP will get all 3 of these. So
yeah, they're on the list.
Let me explain why I got the pack, because I have Unbreakable on DVD. My version of Split, the discs did not work. Actually, when we were doing the M. Night Shyamalan movies, we were doing all of them. I put in my DVD copy of Split, and then the DVD just stopped working like halfway through. So I unfortunately had to kind of get rid of my DVD copy. So I was like, I need a physical copy of Split, because I had Glass on Blu-ray. So I had Unbreakable on DVD. So I'm like, you know what? I'll be the brave one and spend the $30 to get this.
And I plan on owning it. I don't care if I own the 3 individually. I want that cover. I want it to say the Eastrail on it. So
yeah, that's cool. I
like that.
And I almost pulled the trigger and ordered that off of eBay, but the way I organize my movies, I like them in alphabetical order so I can go right to them. And if there's multiple, then then they get stuck up in these obscure locations. And sometimes I forget that I own movies because they're part of multiple packs. So I think I'm going to wait, and I'm going to find all 3 of the Blu-rays separately. Now, like with the X, Pearl, and Maxine trilogy, I do have all 3 of those movies together because I am such a massive fan. And on my shelf, I may still put all 3 of these under Unbreakable, but I do like having them. So I like having my movies separate.
I like having them separate too. In this way, it doesn't bother me, because just like the movies, they're all their own separate thing. But when I had originally said to somebody, I forgot who it was, I go, oh, I wish that they would do a collection of these. And somebody went, oh yeah, it's the Eastrail. And I'm just like, what is that? And they're like, and I don't remember what they told me, but it was, and I'm just like, and I could never think of the name of it. Whenever I would look these up to buy as the collection, I could never think of the title for the trilogy. And so it wasn't until we really started doing this that I went, okay, I got to figure out what this title is. And I had already purchased all 3 because the trilogy is expensive, or it can be. And but I do want that. I want that slip that says that on there, because I think that's very important. Like, that title alone is just as important as these 3 titles here.
Someday we should do on Fat Samurai Guy's channel, they do a show called Versus, and they just take 2 things and they put them up against each other. We should do a Anya Taylor-Joy versus Sydney Sweeney show one day. Because unfortunately for Sydney Sweeney, now Sydney Sweeney has done some great movies, and my favorite of hers is Immaculate. Love that movie. Absolutely love it. One of my favorite horrors ever. But Anya Taylor-Joy, what she does, she has the Midas touch. Everything she touches turns to gold, where Sydney Sweeney has a lot of bombs. But I mean, just to run down, going all the way back to her first big film was The Witch in 2015. That scored a 7 on IMDb. Then you got Morgan, 5.9, Split, 7.3. There's other smaller things, but Glass, 6.6. Then going at Queen's Gambit, 8.5. Last Night in Soho, 7.0. Northman, 7.0. Peaky Blinders, 8.7. The Menu, 7.2. Amsterdam, 6.1. Super Mario Brothers, 7.0. Dune, Part 2, 8.4. Furiosa, 7.5. The Gorge, and that's probably, people are going to say The Gorge may be her worst movie of the big ones, but I very much enjoyed The Gorge. I don't understand the hate, but that's got a 6.7, and Sacrifice has a 6.8. Everything she does hits. So
well, maybe that could be interesting. a film discussion at some point.
I think it should be one day. Yeah, we
Yeah, I
need
think
to
that
debate.
that would be funny. We'd have to explain why it's those two people, you know. But
Not just because we're old perverts.
correct,
Or is that
correct.
why? Yeah, that is
Yeah,
why.
little bit, little
Because
bit,
we're old
little bit,
perverts.
little bit. All right, so now we're
Uh,
going to move on to Glass, which is part 3. And so this is the one that I think gets the most hate. A lot of people hate that ending, and I, you know, when I talk, I'll get into what I think of it. But OGP, what did you think of Glass?
so the relationship between Derek and all the other characters and the Beast and stuff and Casey, I think that's an interesting dynamic. I feel like people might have had a problem with why did she care about him when he was trying, potentially to kill her. How could she come around and actually care about him? But I think as they showed at the end of Glass, she learned what was going on with him and that he was sick and that it wasn't him, there was good in him and that she understood why, especially, with his, childhood trauma and stuff, why he was. And I don't know if she ever learned about his childhood trauma. I don't know if that ever was presented to her character, but she identified with him because of her issues. So I do find it plausible. It's in a weird way. There are and have been cases in real life where people that were kidnapped and stuff have grown to care about their kidnappers or people that have done bad things. So I don't have as much of a problem with that as I feel like a lot of people would. Um, that to me is probably one of the big red flags. The other is, yes, the ending. Now I do like, and it's funny going back to water killing aliens and now water killing David Dunn. So every all of them having their kryptonite. Glass, you just can't hurt him because he can't take it. And I guess the Beast, he can be big and strong, but you could still shoot him. But David Dunn, the water thing, I was waiting and waiting when the movie was going on for him to pop his head up out of that water and go like, you know what, I broke down that metal door. I don't care if my face is in water. I'm going to knock these guys off me and get up. But and I can see why that because it pissed me off at first. But then thinking about it as a filmmaker, if I'm M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong, I'm going, I made a trilogy. I want to wrap this up. This is done. The story has been told, like The Sopranos. Cut to black. It's over. Their story has been told. And even though Glass says this is an origin story, it's not an origin story about these three characters. It is an origin story of how superheroes come to light, become, accepted in society. And so it is still an origin story. Um, I, I am torn. I am conflicted about the fact that they all died at the end. Because I want more from these three guys. I want to see more of their story. But at the same time, a good filmmaker could go create other characters that play off or come out of the shadows because these characters brought being a superhero into the mainstream. You could go do another trilogy off of this or even just another film. So I do like that there is still a potential for more movies in this franchise. There's potential for, another trilogy or something. So it's okay that they killed them all at the end. But I think in a certain way, and I know, hopefully you're not picking that up, but there's like music playing somewhere. Like I can be I love horror movies. I can have a sick and twisted mind and want things that a lot of people don't want out of a movie. So I like, the the anti-hero. I like the Beast. Did I want to see the Beast, go, kill a bunch of people or continue kidnapping girls? No, but I want to see the conflict between the Beast and the Overseer. I want to see that epic battle, which we got the beginning of. And then I love how, when Glass is like, "Oh, don't tell him now," about how the Beast's dad got killed, because he knew that was going to ruin the epic battle that he had set up. So he's like, "Don't tell him now." But I was rooting for more, and with Glass being so smart and being able to outwit these people at this institution, this asylum, I wanted to see more of him. I in the new Superman movie, I hate Lex Luthor. They think the character's goofy. I don't like him. I mean, I like what's his name from Christopher Reeves, and I'm sorry I get impartial, but
Jim
I
Adkins.
thank you. I liked Glass. I liked the Beast, and I like them all. I wanted more of them. So I think at the end, when you're not going to get any more, a lot of people, rather than appreciating what we had, are just going to be pissed off that we can't get any more. But I will end by saying that, to your point, John, with their color palettes, even the walls behind them illuminated in their colors and stuff. I liked what they did. Oh, and the lady that came in, I like her a lot as an actress. What's her name?
Yeah, that's Sarah Paulson, who she's
Yes.
Dr. Staple. If you staple, that even has a meaning in this. I think she is hot. I really dig her. Redhead and all that.
Agreed.
Yeah. So,
And it's funny, because she was in that one with something about the nurse being evil or something?
oh, she was Ratchet, wasn't she?
Ratchet, right?
Yeah, from
And
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Yeah.
and I was talking with Jesse Lee Polly about that, and I was like, yeah, she's, there's something about her, she's a gorgeous woman. And Jesse's like, oh, I think she's hideous, ugly. And I was like, wow. No, I like her. She's more mature. She's not, she's not going to compete with, the Anya Taylor-Joys, the Sydney Sweeneys, but she's more mature and has that, classy, elegant look to her, I think, a little bit. But but yeah, there you go. But her interactions with them and her trying to convince them, I love the way it wasn't just at face value, that they threw the twist at the end with her and what she was really up to. So this was great. I in my opinion, it's the weakest of the three films. I think for being 2019, they could have made that fake building in Philadelphia look a little more real, because it did look like a cartoon building in the middle of Philadelphia, because that building does not exist. But and with the fact that they put a fake building and they didn't blow it up, I was kind of shocked. I was waiting for the very end that maybe Glass had done something on the computer that the building was still going to blow up or something. I was kind of waiting for that, but it was such a fun movie. It's over 2 hours, so it runs a little bit long, but that's okay. One other point I wanted to make is I forgot with Split and this. I wonder if, because you had Unbreakable and then 16 years later you get Split and then 3 years later Glass, the superhero comic book movies really took off again after, Iron Man and stuff was coming. But in 2012, when we got that first Avengers movie, it's been, theaters have been nothing but superhero movies ever since. And it's, when's the next one coming? When's the next one coming? So I do think probably the studio went back to M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong and said, like, dude, you were onto something right there. We need more of that. Or he went back to them and said, can I have my trilogy now, please? One way or the other. I'm glad that, and I just think the influence of the other superhero movies being so popular enabled these to happen, because I don't know that we would ever got these without. So it's a good movie. I very much recommend it. I still rate it very highly, but I would say it's probably the weakest of the three. And I'm done.
Okay, Donald.
I enjoyed this movie. I agree with Philip. I think it's the weakest of the trilogy, but I feel like it is still very much necessary. If you're going to watch the other two, I really recommend watching this one to kind of wrap up the story. I enjoyed the whole thing, the chemistry between the Beast and what was the girl's name again?
Casey, but she doesn't have the
Casey.
relationship with the Beast.
It's not a relationship per se. It's like a chemistry between them.
No, not the Beast. It's Kevin.
It's Kevin, yeah.
Yeah, it's Kevin.
But that's what I'm saying. But I'm talking about Kevin himself. She has like a chemistry with them. Even when they are in their other personalities, you know, they know who she is, and they're like, "Hey, what do you want? Why are you here? Why do you want to talk to us? You know, why do you want to be around us so much?" And she's trying to get to Kevin and say, "Hey, you know, I want you to snap out of this. You know, come to the light per se." And I guess that's when the lead doctor lady, Dr. Staple, was like, "We need your help," and she kind of like walked away. She didn't really want anything to do with it, but then later she's like, "I think I can provide some help." So I did enjoy that aspect. When I first seen this movie, I did hate the fact that they all died at the end. I did hate the fact, but now this time around, I'm like, I'm looking at it a little more deeper this time. With you know them, you know, she was trying to hide the fact that these people exist. She wanted them to, denounce their superhero style, their abilities and everything. But secretly she's like, "I wanted you guys to do it, but so I can shut you guys down," basically. So, and the whole, another twist that M. Night Shyamalan does, when David touches her hand, they reveal that she was part of like this secret society. I would actually love to have a movie based on maybe the secret society part. If M. Night or if M. Night decides to give it off to somebody else to do, I'd like to see like more of like, because we really didn't get too much with them, and maybe that's a good thing, but I'd like to see a little bit more with that.
Yeah, though that secret society thing where they meet was very cool, and that would be great. She talks about in that final scene about wanting to getting approval from them to move on to the next city to do this again. That would be an interesting spinoff. But I wonder, and you mentioned something that made me, it reminded me. Do you think she was really trying to just convince them that they were crazy to keep them locked up? She had the intention of not wanting them dead, and she never would have had them killed because she didn't, order them to be killed. They just wound up getting killed because of what happened.
She's gaslighting them, which is why she gives the reasons, David Dunn's bones are very dense, so of course he's going to sink, if he's in a pool.
But her ultimate goal was it just to keep them locked up forever so they couldn't come to,
or just convince them that they don't have it. Maybe keep them, maybe locked up forever. But the whole idea is to convince Superman that he can't fly.
Yeah.
So then he
No,
never
and
does it again.
yeah. So she would her MO would have never been to kill them. It would have been just to keep them locked up. So that is very comic booky, where you don't want to kill the bad guys, and where he deviates from this whole trilogy being comic book to the very end where they do get killed. That is what doesn't happen in comic books, and that's probably what pissed people off. But anyways,
Yeah.
I apologize, John. I just thought based off what Donald said, it is a very interesting dynamic of her character, that she's just trying to convince them that they're not who they think they are and keep them locked up.
Yeah,
Very.
I think that's the whole organization is meant to do that. I mean, if you did another movie or maybe even a TV show, they could create their own superheroes to go up against the superheroes that they don't want, or it would just be Men in Black, and they would be out finding superheroes to convince them that they're not superheroes. I know that the two things that I heard of that people hated: the ending, that they didn't go to the tower, and that the secret organization, they didn't like that either. I loved both.
Me too.
So it's like the picture that's up here now. This is Stockholm syndrome. I mean, this is the victim falling in love with one of the personalities who would be the most likely the original person, Kevin, and then and so that's why she wants to see him. And I love when she does ask, the doctor to, well, can I go see him? And she says no. And she goes, well, why? And she goes, because you're the victim. And it's like, no, but it's because she has like Stockholm syndrome, and which is like what Patty Hearst had. And I love that we're building up to the tower. The tower is the big thing. It's friggin' Avengers. It's all these movies that have a friggin' tower with a beam of light coming out of them, which are like 10 of them. And we build and build and build and build. And it was fake the entire time. That it was that I just don't want to keep saying doctor. And I even said what her name was. And now I'm
Sarah Paulson.
Staple. That she tells Mr. Glass everything he needs to know. You're not going anywhere. There's cameras everywhere. They're recording everything.
Yeah.
And you could kind of see a smirk on his face a little bit. Like, I'm going to use every single thing you're telling me against you. And it's so I liked the fight at the end. And I know that a lot of people did hate that David died. I think he killed himself. I think he committed suicide. I think that he let the guy drown him. That at first it was a surprise, because you do see that pothole. There's one shot of it before it gets filled with water. So it's like a foreshadowing thing.
Yeah.
And I think that at first he's just like, I'm going to get out of this. But by the end, it's like, he doesn't believe it. He doesn't believe what he is, because he even says to them, are you sure we are what we think we are? Maybe she's right. And I think that he allows the guy to kill him.
I feel I disagree with you on that. I feel like the water was his kryptonite, and when he's in the water, because he had to be helped out of the pool, when he was saving the two kids when their parents were killed, he had to be helped out of the pool there. The only way he got out of the big tank was hitting the wall and it breaking. Water's his kryptonite, and I feel like when he was under there, that was it. He lost all his power. So I see where you're coming from on that. I look at it a little differently.
I mean, don't you? But he could just knock that guy right out.
Agree.
So I mean, he is just in like a face full of water, but in the other ones, he's in a tank, a pool,
But the thing with water and people, I knew a girl who, she could only take, I don't know how she did it. But she had this thing where she could not get water on her face. She could stand and shower, wash her hair, you know, she could go in a pool, but she could not get water on her face. Water on her face, that's it. She's done. Where, you know, I kind of feel like maybe if you were almost drowned or something, maybe it's just the water on the face is your kryptonite, and that is it. You know, Superman's kryptonite, all his powers and everything are worthless at that point. So
yeah, and you do only need a little piece of kryptonite, so it doesn't have to be something as big as a car. It could be like the size of a golf ball, and it will take him down. So,
but it's an interesting point that you make, and it's interesting to kind of, you know, think about it both ways.
Well, I look at it, it's like, well, when they had him in his cell and they had all the nozzles pointed directly at him, you know, even if he gets like, you know, like drenched in it, like that weakens him. I mean, like natural, like just normal rain, like, you know, all, you know, pouring from the sky, that doesn't bother him. But when it's like something like they drench him so bad that, you know, he's basically, he loses like all like sense. So when he was in there, I believe when he was in the tank, like that's when like he was so weak from being in the tank for that long. Like he used almost all of his strength just to break the hole in the side, and then basically when he was there, he was so weak they just drug him over, because they literally just picked him up like he was nothing, and they took him over that pothole and just started shoving his face in.
Well, I mean, he was fighting the Beast, and that's why in this picture the Beast is looking at him that way, because he actually won against the Beast. So it's like he defeated the Beast, and now we're gonna have this epic fight. I don't know. I just think that if your kryptonite is water, why would you be in the rain unless it has to be a deep thing of water? Maybe just rain doesn't affect him. But if it's a puddle, I think that he could easily get out of that. So that's why I think maybe he's just like, I just shouldn't be here. I shouldn't exist. You know, everything that I thought was a lie.
Yeah.
And
I felt like, you know, with like the rain and stuff, I felt like, you know, a little bit of water or whatever is one thing, but I felt like it's just submerged. And I almost wondered that in his cell with all that water spraying, would it like fill up, or would he question the fact that it would fill up and that he would drown? So the threat or the thought of drowning being there was a possibility. So I wonder if that was.
I think it was just like a shower, because
maybe
go on.
God.
Oh no, I was just saying, I think it was a shower. I don't think it was supposed to fill up. It was just supposed to hit him, and then, you know, like if it was a green kryptonite ray hitting him, and then it just forces him back to the wall, kind of like you know with Kevin with doing all the splits. Every time the guy turned it on and off, he turned into a different person. Until, you know,
that was hilarious.
Yeah, and you know, Mr. Glass did the same thing until he got the person that he wanted. So it's I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a you know, a discussion to be had about, because it is. Why is it just a puddle of water? Why isn't it something? Why isn't there a lake next to it?
Because it all happens in the parking lot. It's you know, it's plausible because it's in the parking lot.
But the Beast could just take him and throw him into this lake that is literally right there. And then he starts drowning in this water. Instead, it's a little thing. It's just a little puddle.
$9 million budget had something to do with it.
Well, yeah. And I was going to mention that he obviously did something right. Well, no, it's the Glass budget was $20 million. So he did something right from Split, which was only $9 million.
But still, $20 million, and you have Samuel Jackson, Bruce Willis, and James McAvoy.
That's where your
that budget went fast with those three dudes.
Yeah, and that's why it's one location again. Basically, it's that it's in this institute.
And Anya Taylor-Joy and Sarah Paulson. Like, man, probably 3/4 of that budget went to the cast.
Yeah, I mean, it did make. I mean, it made, you know, $247 million. So it definitely made back its money, but you know, but still,
no, it's a great movie.
I mean, I just think that it's well, you keep raising your hand, Donald. The bathroom is right down the hallway.
No, you're good. You're good.
Oh, okay. Did you want to say something?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, don't scratch. It bothers me. But you had mentioned, yeah, when I had a similar picture to this is their colors. So Bruce is green. The Beast has like an orange, and then Mr. Glass has the purple. So it's they definitely have their color palettes that were given to this, which I also found interesting because I didn't notice that really until the last movie.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice seeing, like, I like this shot of, this is M. Night directing right here. This is kind of cool seeing this. And I like that he plays the same character. So he's
with his cameos.
That he's the drug dealer in the first movie, and then he's in the security shop in the third movie, and he's like, hey, don't I recognize you? Didn't you used to work at? He's like, yeah, I used to be a scumbag, but now I'm like a good guy.
He was also the security guard in Split as well.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah. So
because when she was trying to question the one of the personalities, that Barry that kept showing up, she was in his office. They were looking at the security cameras. And remember when he walked through the garbage, and she's like, "Nah, he did that on purpose. He was overreacting."
Oh, okay. I don't think I noticed him in Split then. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember him in Split. Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at that. Yeah.
Yeah. So and then this is just for age. I mean, then and now. So two different guys.
Yeah.
And
it's so crazy to think that Unbreakable is made in 2000. I mean, man, that was a long time ago. And like I mentioned to you the other day, John, that was only 11 years after they wrapped up Moonlighting with him, and was it Sybil Shepherd?
Yeah.
And but that was like maybe not the first thing Bruce Willis ever did, but that was the beginning of Bruce Willis. That was what put him into the mainstream, and that this was only 11 years after that is crazy to think.
Well, he was doing, after Moonlighting, the comedies. So he's doing Blind Date and all this stuff. And we were like, oh, it's the guy from Moonlighting. Then we started seeing the posters and the standees for Die Hard. And we were like, really? That guy? Yeah. You're getting that guy? Really? Really? Oh, this is going to be dog shit. And it wasn't.
And we thought the same exact thing about Robert Pattinson with the Batman.
Yeah. Oh, Michael Keaton with Batman also.
Very true.
Beetlejuice is Batman. There was even
then Val Kilmer did just suck as Batman. So
yeah,
the ones we thought would be great are like, what happened, bro?
So now, do you, with there being a possible, let's say, a spinoff maybe of these, would these then be our characters?
Fuck no. You could bring back Anya Taylor-Joy, and maybe you can have a cameo of Glass's mom or the kid, but I don't think you need them at all. I and as I would just say, bring back Anya Taylor-Joy because she's a name and she's a great actress, but I don't want to see Mr. Treat over there ever again in my life.
What about the mom?
You could, but
that actress is probably dead, but she's probably passed, but you just have to get somebody to replace her.
I don't know. She's, it kind of looked like a wig, but I would suggest that if you brought it back, you would have to have some type of cameo to let everybody know this is in that same universe. You bring back Sarah Paulson and she's running the show. Okay, you've got your story, but maybe you have Glass's mom come and warn people that, hey, these are bad people. They're up to no good, and you need to stop them before it's too late. Maybe, she is trying to save the world because she knows the possibilities because of what her son became. You could have her pop up like that. But yeah, I don't want to see Treat.
What about you, Donald? Would this work for you or not work for you?
Man, I don't have any gripe against Mr. Treat. I still think, he still looks the same way as he did as a kid. He still has
Which
that
is
look
so
about him
weird.
that's just
Yeah.
a weird look. But I mean, if they wanted to maybe have it where, I don't know, like they these three, like maybe these three are like kind of like they start an organization or something for superheroes that may have not might be in hiding or something because of what they found out happened to these three, and they're trying to like recruit them to give them like almost like an X-Men kind of style or something. But obviously,
I could
make it
see
different.
that. It's a TV show, 8 episodes, whatever it is. They're working with Sarah Paulson's company. They don't have secret powers or anything like that. It's just I'm the son of the guy. I got the Stockholm syndrome. I'm the mom, and then you just have them working within the facility.
But that couldn't fly because the kid supported his dad. He would be against Sarah Paulson.
Okay, so then like Donald said, then they would be a separate organization going against her, going against Sarah Paulson. And I like the idea, that they're hiding these superheroes and they're respected in their own ways because they knew the original three. And what was it with Scream? What was the name of the group? The four, the Fantastic. What was it in like Scream?
In part 5?
Yeah.
Ugh, fuck them all.
The something four, the Magnificent Four or something, whatever their name was.
Yeah.
This could be like the Magnificent Three.
If you brought a movie and Mr. whatever his name is, Spencer Treat guy was in it, I'm tapping out. I'm not watching.
He's not a bad actor.
Yeah. I'd be good. I wouldn't need to see it.
So if they remade these, so let's say they remade Unbreakable. This is who I think they would get to play Mrs. Glass.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, God, no.
I think that's who they would get.
Oh.
Hey, she's already played Jesus Christ.
Yeah. If they went full woke with him and all that, I definitely wouldn't watch. I will watch nothing that thing is in.
Let's get her off the screen. My joke is
Thank you.
Well, when you have, when you have something like, let me get this one.
So a line in the movie, she could go, because somebody would go like, "Are you Glass?" And she could go, "I'm not Glass because I got a bald head."
There you go. And then because she pulls off the wig.
My last name is Smith.
There you go. So I could see it. I could see so we got our 3 guys here. So if this was made today for a modern audience, they would have to be, none of them could be white. None of them could be straight. None of them could be rich.
Okay.
So
this is what would happen. This is what would happen. Will Smith or Samuel L. Jackson's character would be a black woman.
Yes.
So Bruce Willis would be a gay guy, or a conservative, like evil guy. No. James McAvoy would be the gay guy.
The Beast, because he's the bad guy. The Beast would be the white male cast, the straight white male.
Okay.
Bruce Willis's character would be
the gay guy, the LGBTQ, transgender type character.
You make the Samuel L. Jackson. You make Glass here a winner from RuPaul's Drag Race, and then
But Bruce Willis would definitely have to be. It would definitely have to be the LGBT approved. But because he's the bad guy, you got to make the bad guy, or you replace Glass. You make Glass a white conservative. You make Glass an orangish white guy.
No, you have Kevin, who's the liberal. He's the really sweet guy, the very nice guy. He's like the best friend. Like he would never be the boyfriend, type of thing. Like he's that guy. And then when he's the Beast, he's the Trump supporter. He's the evil one.
Yeah, exactly.
And so he's like, no, don't bring him back. People hate him. Don't do that. And they'll be like, no, Kevin, stay. And then he turns into this MAGA loving
the Beast.
the
Beast has weird hair and an orange tint to him.
Yeah. So they would have to remove whatever, like he already has the orange tint.
Yeah, well, I mean, but you would push it
because Orange Man back, and he only
that.
eats, what is it, like the Cheetos? Because those are orange.
The Gooya.
Okay. And he drinks a lot of Diet Coke.
and McDonald's.
And hold on, and you gotta have him drink like this.
Yeah.
Is that how Trump drinks?
Yeah, he
yes, that's exactly how he drinks.
He was. There was something weird with water, and it was just a bottle, and he picked it up like this, and then he set it down, and I thought it was a joke. Like maybe he wasn't trying to get the water. He didn't want to get it on his tie or something.
Spill it on his tie or something. Yeah.
Yeah, but then maybe he was making fun of who was the Democrat.
He might have been trolling. Yeah.
Yeah, the one guy who was doing the speech, and then
but that wasn't a speech. That was Marco Rubio years ago. It was his counter to the what the presidential address before Congress, whatever that's, State of the Union. Afterwards, the other party has a counter to it. So that was when Obama did the State of the Union, and then Marco Rubio was the way he was drinking water and stuff when he was doing rebuttal. It wasn't good. Marco Rubio's come a long way in the last few years.
Yeah. I mean, that could be it. Or Trump's just a weird guy, as we know.
Rich people do weird shit and act weird ways. Look at Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders. Why would anybody with billions of dollars roll around with the Dumb and Dumber haircut? I mean, if you're a billionaire, you don't have the Dumb and Dumber haircut. So rich people who've always been told yes, been surrounded by nothing but yes men their entire lives, they do weird shit. So Trump, there's certain things it's weird, it's cringy, but he's rich, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, unless he's just doing it to troll. I'm just gonna pick this thing up with both my hands when it's so small. That
is funny. Yeah,
because it makes my hands look bigger, which makes something else look bigger. So I like the pick of Bruce. I didn't want to miss out on
my huge hands.
Huge.
My hands
Notice
are
that
so
I have
big.
huge hands.
Yes, I would hold it with one hand, but I would crush the can because of my
incredible strength. Look how big my hands are. Look how big they are.
Yes.
So, but
my doctor said I had the greatest hands he's ever seen.
Perfect hands. Could not go to Vietnam.
Oh,
so.
Sleepy Joe would never have hands like that.
Yeah. No, Sleepy Joe would be wearing half of his cup of coffee.
That's true. Yeah. So what are our last words here on this on the Eastrail 177 trilogy? What are our final thoughts on these? So anybody go first?
In my opinion, Glass is my favorite. Then Unbreakable. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I thought you said it was your word. Did he change his mind?
Split is my favorite. Then Unbreakable, then Glass. But I love them all. They're a great trilogy. A great cast, and I want more. And I, on my Letterboxd page, rated all three of these films a 4 out of 5.
Okay. That's fair enough. Donald?
I enjoyed all three of these movies. I think if you're gonna watch them, I really feel like you should watch them in order. I mean, watch Unbreakable, then watch Split, then watch Glass. I would have to say, in my particular order, I'd say I'd have to go with the way that it was released. My favorite would be Unbreakable. Second favorite would be Split, and my least favorite would be Glass. But I did enjoy all three. I think they're worthy of watching. So if you haven't watched them, I mean, you just got spoilers, but go watch them. They're fun movies.
Yeah, and OGP mentioned this during Glass, where like, David is starting to tell, the Beast his background, and stuff, and that's in the comic books where the villain switches.
These are actual comic books?
No. I'm saying like in a comic book.
Oh, in a comic book in general.
A comic
okay, gotcha.
book that's when the good guy and the bad guy are fighting. You got the middle guy here, like Brainiac, Superman, Lex Luthor, and then Superman starts telling Brainiac all the shit that Lex Luthor did, and then they kind of join together to take out Lex Luthor. They hate each other, but they have to team up. So I forgot to mention that in my thing, but that I really like that because that's in all of this stuff. I have to sneeze. There's probably gonna be one
COVID
more. Thank
COVID.
You.
That's okay because I have like a sniffle in my left nostril, not in my right, but in my left. It's been at times kind of clogging, at times about to start running, and so I've had to mute myself to give it the good old ski slope attempt there.
Excuse me, I probably should be muting myself, but I don't know when they're coming up. So my order would be Unbreakable, Glass, then Split. Because my favorite Marvel thing is the Avengers. I like having them all together.
I know.
And
I hate
so that to me is, but I agree with the rate. Well, I would give Unbreakable 5 stars. The other ones get 4. So I'm almost there. But I think Unbreakable is.
I'm almost there. What?
M9.
What happened? What's going on?
I don't know, man. What's going on with you? So that's where I am on it. So any final thoughts on these?
Final thoughts?
Final thoughts?
I appreciate the fact that you mentioned you guys were watching and talking about these because it has been probably 5 years since I've seen any of them. So it was nice to revisit them. And I think M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong has a very good eye for the camera. He knows how to shoot things. I mean, obviously he has a DP and stuff, but
hold on, you guys keep talking. I never do this, but hold on.
The shots are John got a tinkle. The shots are very well planned out, and I think they're all done for a reason. So they're very well put together movies, and I was glad to revisit them again. So when was the last time you saw them, Donald? Because you said this is your second time, right?
Yeah, the first time I watched like I said before, I watched all 3 of these when we did our M. Night Shyamalan video. I think 2 or 3 years ago. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to double check on that. But like I said, this time around watching them, and I haven't watched them since then. So, and again, like I said, I watched Unbreakable. Then we rewatched, I think, Signs, The Village, and all the other movies in between there before I even got to Split. So I didn't watch Unbreakable or Split then Glass. So now this time around, I did watch all 3 of them back to back, and I appreciated them a whole heck of a lot more. So I definitely recommend, I mean, watch them in order. Unless you're an M. Night Shyamalan completist where you have to watch them in publication order. I don't know why you would do that, but we did it for a video, but that's the only reason we did it. So.
Yeah, but, no, it doing videos like that are a good excuse to explore movies that you may have not given a chance before, and then you find some that you're like, I was missing out. So that's cool.
I was going to talk crap about John, but now he's back, so sorry, I can't do that now.
Okay, now that I'm back, please repeat all that so I can hear it. Oh, I forgot.
We were talking all kinds of smack about you. We said we didn't like you. No.
Here's my glass. This is how I own glass. So there we go. I don't want to forget that. I am so sorry. It was, I had to pee so bad, and it was either in.
You really did have to tinkle. I thought I was joking. I thought you were going to get something.
No, God, I was dying. It's like, do I just pee in my coffee mug? But then I'd be peeing on Tom Cruise because it's my Top Gun.
Don't do that.
This is my second time I've done this, so I'm
remind me never to drink out of a glass at your apartment. John, has this glass been urinated in?
Yeah.
That'll be my.
I don't know. Does it smell like it has a bit of weighing in it?
Oh, Jesus. There is a thing called pause. We could have just paused the whole thing. And
but then that would have interrupted your flow because I had to go do my flow. Oh.
Well, thank you for the your consideration. I appreciate that.
Oh, sure, you're welcome. I don't like interrupting things, and it drives me nuts when Jonathan does this over on his channel. So now I can't complain about him doing it because I've done it twice now. But are you guys? Did you say what you needed to say? Your final thoughts? Then I'll do it, and then we can take off.
Yeah, I think I'm done.
Okay. I love all three of these. I recommend for people to see them, and I agree they should be watched in this order with Split. Don't turn it off once it ends. You got to stay for the little cameo at the end. I did go to the very end of Glass thinking maybe there was something on there, but there isn't. And I love all three of these films, and I am thinking of collecting the M. Night films, but like I just looked at right now, I think Amazon has Trap, the Blu-ray, for only $10. And I'm like, I did enjoy it. It's stupid as hell. Makes no sense.
That's the only one I haven't seen so far.
It is a giant promotion for his daughter because she sings in it. That's the concert that they're at. And it's just one giant promo for her.
I didn't hate it as much as I thought I would. It wasn't a terrible movie, but I wasn't a big fan of Trap. But it definitely wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen.
He has very interesting ideas. Like Old is based off of a graphic novel. So I don't know how close it is to the graphic novel, but somebody gave it to him, said you might like this. He liked it enough to make it into a film. Trap is his own idea. He has good ideas, but it's just like, I don't know. And I think now he's stuck in this twist ending thing where, he can't get out of it. He just can't make a regular movie.
I like twists though. I do like a good twist. Sorry, my brain was in a different place.
Was it on
I can't believe that that they have not made comic books, or like you go to Comic-Con and you can buy like a hardcover or like a thick book, and they'll take every episode of, or every issue of a series of comic books and put them into one book. How have they not done something like that for this? Why don't we have these made into comic books, or like a big book with all three of them or something? I think people would eat those up. But I just Googled it, and they don't exist as far as I can tell.
Are you talking about comic books for Unbreakable, Split, and
like right there? Because like for example, they did it with Terrifier. Who the fuck wants a Terrifier comic book? But
I made a ton of money.
No, it did, but these are comic book movies.
Sure.
So it would be appropriate. I would buy it. I think, as much as I enjoyed this franchise, I would probably pick that up for a reasonable price. I was at Comic-Con in San Diego and wanted to they have like a hardbound of The Punisher, and a fucking thing was like $150. I was like, but but something for the right price, even if it was like $60 or $70 for a book, full color art of the movies, I think that would be great. So
Or how about comic books in between the movies? Like, like what did happen to David Dunn after he walked out of the
Oh
gallery?
yeah, or yeah, spin-off comic books would be great
Yeah.
too. You could do a lot, yeah. Man, yeah, M Night, he definitely, it's interesting movies. And they are very hit or miss, but the ones that he has done that have hit, I've really enjoyed, like these. So I think as much as he's given us turds like Old or Trap, I'll still watch whatever he puts out. Although apparently I've never watched Caddo Lake.
That one is the one that he had to practically crowdfund. Like nobody would give him money for that. He had to actually go out and find investors to do it. There's a whole book on it. He wrote a whole book on how that movie was made. And because of, I guess, the Village, he couldn't get funding for it. So he's got good ideas, but
Caddo Lake, John, that movie you and I watched recently about a lake, was it Lake Mungo?
Wait, cabin, Knock at the
C-A-D-D-O.
Cabin, or Lady in the Water?
What about him?
What it sounds like you're saying Cato in the Lake?
Caddo Lake, Caddolake. I guess, why am I seeing?
I have no idea what that is.
Oh, because he's a producer. He didn't direct it. My bad. I'm on the producer thing. He's a producer.
You're on IMDb, which I hate. I'm on Wikipedia, so
we'll give it the program, sir.
No, see, you're making mistakes. I ain't making no mistakes.
Oh, you make lots of mistakes. Your first mistake was inviting me on here, sir.
It's okay. I can just black out your square the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put a pink one on there.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know. But Caddo Lake, anyways, the point with seeing Caddo Lake that he's producing, the synopsis of that sounds very much like that Lake Mungo, where there's like
there's Caddo Lake. Okay, I see it now. Yeah, it's after Trap. Yeah. Okay. So the Remain is an upcoming American supernatural romantic thriller. It's got Jake Gyllenhaal in it, but and The Watchers, that's his daughter's movie. She directed that.
Grieving architect moves to Cape Cod for work after leaving a psychiatric facility. While staying at a historic B&B, he meets a mysterious woman who makes him question his rational beliefs about life and loss. So that sounds kind of interesting. I like Cape Cod. I'm a big fan of New England, Boston, etc., etc. The word etc. has not been used nearly enough in this fucking video. How am I the only one that has said etc., etc.?
I didn't want people to think I was stealing from you or the movie.
I love that, etc.
He is definitely. It's so weird because he first directed like Praying with Anger, which is not a horror film. Wide Awake is with Rosie O'Donnell. He's writer director on both of those.
Oh, brother.
She's All That, uncredited rewrite. But then, Sixth Sense. He also wrote Stuart Little. Then Unbreakable Signs. And it's The Village, I think, that really killed him. Because then after that, Lady in the Water, What the Happening. He also did The Story, but he didn't direct Devil, which I thought was pretty good. The one that's in the elevator.
Oh, it's a good movie. That movie.
After Earth is the one that it's funny, is the original script for that is a car crash. And Will Smith was stuck in a car, and then Jaden had to go find help, and I guess he comes against bears and other things like that, and instead they changed it to a sci-fi movie, so he crashes on this planet, and it is god awful, and nowhere in the advertising do they mention M. Night's name, and it's got to be
Mm.
because of his past films, so. But
Yeah, but yeah, it's interesting. It would be, and I mean, you guys already did the video. It's a little redundant to go into every movie he's ever done. But to me, Split Glass and Unbreakable are great, and maybe Sixth Sense is great, but yeah, the other movies that he's done in recent times, Old, Knock at the Cabin, and Trap, those three specifically they're almost like movies you make just to stay in the business. They don't feel inspired. And as much I had fun with Knock at the Cabin.
Oh, I like Knock at the Cabin. I thought it was his best film in a while.
Yeah, right. I am not like I don't have anything against Dave Bautista, but wrestlers or whatever that turn into actors don't do much for me. Guys like him or The Rock or whatever, I see these movies and I'm just like, ugh, I'm not gonna like that. But Knock at the Cabin, after watching it, I enjoyed it. And the nice thing is, Wet Movie One hated the movie, so he gave me his copy, so I got a free copy.
Oh, there you go. Okay,
So that's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, or I'll let you guys go. So.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything.
I don't know. I just don't know. Why do you put me through this shit, John? Why do you do this to me?
These were good. These weren't shit. What are you talking about?
No, sitting here talking to you guys.
You're rude.
I kid. It's been a lot of fun. I always enjoy our conversation.
You smell bad. Yeah, I can smell it.
Oh, wait till this weekend, buddy. I'll bring something that smells bad for you.
Oh God, yes, he will.
Have you seen my new favorite videos on YouTube are the videos where people are wearing those big inflatable suits. They dance around in them like Pikachu or whatever. And then people go up to the vent and fart spray in them. And then you see them freaking out.
No.
Those are amazing. If you have not seen those videos, seek them out. They will give meaning to your life.
That's funny. And we'll end on that. Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. If you made it all this way, you're awesome. Please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know, or let us know what your favorite of these three movies is, like in order and stuff if you want to. Or what do you like from M. Night? What do you don't like from M. Night? So
comment down below, or you will learn that I have a special set of skills and you don't want me.
Oh, that's a whole other video.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Showing my mad skills.
Yeah. There's 3 of those plus a TV series.
I have 3 skills?
Only 3.
Oh, shit.
And 2 of them aren't very good. And one of them is the same as the other 2.
One's filmed in LA,
really
so
have
it sucked.
So.
Yeah. What do you
All right.
Goodbye. I'm going home.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Taking my ball.
Bye. And you go home.
I will.
You go home. I'm ending this right now. You go home.